Hello there, my beautiful pumpkins, and welcome back to the Pumpkin Patch. If you are new here, hello. My name is Kloee Taylor, and on this channel, I believe we have one of the most cozy, autumnal, vibey corners of the internet. So if you like my style, you like the way that I read, and you want to be a part of this community, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And my beautiful friends, today's video is actually brought to you by me, by myself. This video is actually sponsored by my patrons over on Patreon. So technically not by me, it's by the patrons on Patreon, but the platform area that I have created for y'all. If you would like to get extra readings, workshops, the cheapest that I do them is through the Patreon. If you ever see a workshop come up on my website, which that will be coming in the future, you get them at the best rate if you join the Patreon. Every new moon we get together, we manifest, and I lead you through ceremony on doing that with the astrology, and it's always a really good time. We're doing another one this month on the new moon coming up in Libra. No, it's not Libra. It's going to be the Scorpio new moon, actually, and this new moon is going to be an eclipse, so this one's going to be a little different than the rest, but I'm looking forward to it. We also have a book club where we read a book quarterly together, and there's weekly energy updates where I lead you through the week, what is coming up energetically every week with tarot and astrology. So if you want to get that content for yourself and support me as a creator, I would surely appreciate it. Please be sure to check out the Patreon. It's patreon.com/Kloee Taylor. And the link for that, of course, will be down below. I would love to have you as part of our community. Now, today's reading, y'all, I love doing readings like this. This is one of my favorite readings to create on my channel. It's they just fill my heart with so much warmth and goodness. And today we're actually going to be doing a gentle message from spirit. So maybe you have a tired and weary heart and you just need a little bit of love and to be filled up a little bit. Maybe you're confused about the direction that you're going in right now. Maybe things feel certain or uncertain or scary. This is really the reading that is meant to kind of reassure you. So I just want to challenge you right in the beginning of this video that if you know anybody in your life that is struggling right now, I set the intention when I make these videos that anybody that is struggling will be able to have access to this, will see it, and or they will have it shared with them from a friend. And that is really what this is for. So if you know somebody in your life right now that is struggling or is in need of some extra tender love and care, some guidance, please send this reading to them. Along with these readings, we're also going to be doing something that y'all love on my channel, which is book divination, where at the end of each pile, I'm going to be reading a section from one of 3 books. So I'm going to tell you what those are so you can choose based off of the cards here. The Sun is pile number 1, Temperance is pile number 2, and the Emperor is pile number 3. And the book that corresponds with pile number 1 is The Mountain Is You by Brianna Wiest. Every book today is going to be a Brianna Wiest book. They will all be linked down below for you. Pile number 2 is going to be When You're Ready, This Is How You Heal by Brianna Wiest. And pile number 3 is going to be Ceremony by Brianna Wiest. So you can choose, like I said, based off of the books, based off of the imagery that you already see here. Maybe your intuition from the thumbnail told you which one was going to be for you. Please know that you can never choose wrong and that it's also okay to choose more than one. Some people actually will listen to the entire video and then decide at the end which pile was for them. So ultimately it's up to you. And also know that usually these videos have so many people's energy coming into them that sometimes you just needed what the book at the end of each pile has for you. Sometimes you just needed the tarot card. Sometimes you needed a specific oracle card, and sometimes it's the whole pile and sometimes it's multiple piles. Again, really do what feels good for your intuition. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and turn the meditation music up for you, and then we're going to get into it, starting with pile 1, the Sun. All right, pile number one. So if you chose the Sun card, this is going to be your pile, or the book, The Mountain is You, which is the one that we're doing for this pile. This is going to be your reading. So first and foremost, I see that you have the Three of Swords and the Nine of Swords in your reading. And what this tells me is that you have been feeling deeply unsettled. These are two of, I would argue, the most unsettling cards in the tarot, aside from maybe like the Tower, where the Three of Swords is often about a loss or a heartbreak, whether you have been breaking your own heart, whether you've had your heart broken by family, friends, or a lover. And the Nine of Swords is like losing sleep over that. It's feeling anguish over that, feeling anguish over what your heart is really just mourning for. You know, it also could be that maybe like you're being really squeezed right now financially, and that's causing a lot of stress for you. There's definitely a lot of stress on the table, a lot of anxiety inducing things that are coming up. And the first thing I want to say to you, pile number one, if you're watching this when it is going out current, now sometimes people come across these videos like 6 months later, so this might not apply if that is the case for you. But if you're watching this when the video is brand new, I do just want to say to you that astrologically speaking, we are going through a lot. We just had Mercury in retrograde. We're still dealing with the shadow period. We have Jupiter in retrograde. We have Saturn in retrograde. There is so much that has been really slowed down for us. And that can feel really anxiety inducing. You know, that can feel like, you know, especially when it comes to Jupiter and Saturn, these are the planets that help us to bring about our long-term goals. These are the planets that help us to expand financially. And if you're feeling like those two things are really just not matching up, or you're not making any forward momentum progress on that, you know, I would just say, like, wait until we get through eclipse season. Like, just, I would say probably, I would say definitely after eclipse season, which happens in November, we're going to have a new moon in Scorpio, and then we're going to have a full moon in Taurus. And once we get through those, I do feel like we're going to be feeling a much greater sense of ease. Our stability is getting changed. Our finances are possibly like we're closing a chapter on some kind of financial hardship, and we're also gaining a lot in relationships, assets. Things will be making huge change. Eclipses are not small energy, they're huge energy. So I would say that, you know, just if you're watching this currently, just wait until we get through November. Even this month, the month of October, you are going to start feeling better as this month progresses, because we also will have Jupiter going direct, Saturn going direct, Mercury just went direct. We're going to start feeling like our life has forward momentum again after it's been kind of stagnated for a while. So I would just say, like, keep that in mind, that that could definitely be playing a huge role on what you've been feeling. Now, if you're not somebody that's super into the astrals, basically, you know, this could be you breaking your own heart. This could be you feeling really, I would also say, like, it's almost like you want to sleep everything away, because being up in the waking world is just too difficult right now. And the thing I want to offer you is, please know that change is coming. Please. Like, you have the Sun, the Seven of Cups, and the Fool. These are really positive cards moving forward for you. Like, the Sun tells me that this is vitality. This is joy. If you've been feeling, oh, I'm sorry, I'm just getting like kind of emotional, because I know how this feels. I know the feeling that I'm describing, because I feel it. Like, when I do these readings, I can often pick up on other people's energy, and I can feel that hurt inside. And I've also felt it myself, like in my life. But that feeling of just thinking that you're never going to be happy again. It's like, I always compare it to like Dementors in Harry Potter, where like they always say, like, it literally feels like it just sucks the joy out of your life. And that's how you've been feeling. And I'm telling you that your vitality is going to come back, and you are going to feel happy again. I have the chills. Like, you are not meant to just feel unhappy and dissatisfied and lifeless. And you are going to be getting better. And when you get there, it's hard to see right now, but when you get there, you're going to be like, wow, how did I ever think that this feeling was never going to come back? I promise you it's going to come back. And the Seven of Cups tells me that, especially if you've been feeling stuck and like nothing is possible, this is like the magic literally returning to your life, having multiple different pathways that open up to you all of the sudden. Like, some of those pathways might be things that you don't want, but some of them could be the greatest moments of your life. And the Seven of Cups is that. It's deciding which path you want to walk. It's like, do I want to commit to myself more, or do I want to I hesitate to even say that because there is so much nuance to this topic, but without over explaining what I'm trying to say, which that's hard for me to do. I'm a Gemini moon and an Aries Mercury, like, bitch just loves to talk. But the Seven of Cups to me, this is like taking responsibility for your life right now. And it's not going to happen overnight. This is going to come in steps and in phases. But the Seven of Cups tells me that this is you literally asking yourself, what habits do you no longer want to commit to? And what habits do you want to start committing to? And remember, in the beginning, it's difficult. It's hard to make change in the beginning. That's normal. Things aren't supposed to come easily. And in fact, our bodies and brains are wired for change to actually be a much more slow progressing thing. We're not wired for super fast action. I mean, we can be, like, if you're like into like physical fitness and stuff, and like, or like you're an athlete, but what I mean by that is like the neural pathways in your brain literally run on autopilot. They fire because they are wired to think the same thoughts, do the same patterns, and it's not necessarily your fault. This could be something that's been conditioned in really early, but I promise you, you can change those things. If there's one video of mine that I feel like would benefit you, pile number one, if you want to go back and listen to it, there is a video I put out. It's like a podcast video that I think I produced maybe in the last month. It's all about like how to actually change your life. And the final tip in that video is all about this stuff. It's all about reprogramming your mind and how to move forward in a new way, and like the science behind why that works. And that's what I feel like is happening here, is you're making a decision about your life and you're creating a new way of being, and you're going to feel like it's possible. I think right now you don't really feel like it's possible, but when the sun shows up again with the Seven of Cups, you're feeling like it's possible. And the Fool tells me that you're also willing to do it. You're willing to pick yourself back up, dust yourself off, and keep going. Because right now, I feel like you feel so beaten down by life that you can't even imagine getting back up and going. But I promise you that not only are you going to feel it again, you're going to enjoy getting back up. I know right now that sounds crazy, but just from what I'm seeing in this reading and what I'm feeling, you're actually going to enjoy the process. And just bear with me on that one. Just see how it goes, y'all. Let me get a little sip of water. I feel like I was getting a little emotional. My voice is starting to sound kind of weird. Okay. So next we have the how is in the now. What has your intuition been trying to tell you? So maybe some of you were asking how do I find my happiness? How do I find my joy? How do I get out of this Three of Swords, Nine of Swords energy? And you're being told the how is in the now. And that really, like, I hate when people give answers like this. When you're in the state that you have been in, these answers feel annoying. Like, that, there's no other way to put it. They feel annoying. And I'm not trying to annoy you, but I swear to you, it is the truth. Like, as somebody that has experienced something similar to what I'm feeling here, it doesn't mean that you and I have had the same path or that we've gone through exactly the same things. But as somebody that has, like, feeling into the feelings, I have been where you have been similarly. knowing that and knowing how I've pulled myself out, number one, I think you're talking to the right person. I feel like that's honestly what happens is our stories become the things that empower other people to pull themselves out of the same situation or something similar. So you're talking to the right person. And number two, all we really do have is the present. We can think about the future and, oh no, there's too much month at the end of my money. Or what am I going to do about this situation, or separating from my partner, or maybe my family doesn't support me. Maybe something really crazy has happened. And we don't know how we're ever going to go forward in the future. And we're so focused on what happened in the past that we forget that we can choose ourselves consciously in the present moment. We can be here in the present moment, feeling the wood or the carpet or the bed underneath your body and feet. You can be here in the present moment, smelling the smells that are in your room. I currently have a Lord of Misrule candle from Lush burning, and that smells delightful. Or maybe it's the sound of cars or rain outside that you can hear. These things bring us back to the present moment. And the more that you can exist in the present, and not, because what happens is if you're dwelling on the past, you're often feeling really regretful and sad if something really bad has happened. And if you're dwelling on the future, oftentimes this can bring up feelings of anxiety or worry. And if you dwell on the present, this is where the peace is actually found. This is where you can start to make choices for yourself in this moment on how you're going to care for yourself so that you can move forward into a better future. And that's why people always say that like the presence really is a gift, is because when you are in the present, you can start to ask yourself questions like, what is the next best choice that I can make that would make me feel safe right now? I think that is a valuable question that you need to start implementing into your daily life. What in this moment would make me feel safe? Because I get the sense that you have been feeling a lot of unsettled emotion, and bringing yourself back to the baseline of safety is going to be your saving grace. It's going to bring you back to your joy. So even if it sounds like something silly, like go stand outside on the grass, like go do that. Do it right now. Pause this video, go outside. Maybe it's make a comforting cup of tea. Pause this video, go make a cup of tea. Maybe it's wrap your arms around yourself and give yourself a hug. Do it. Like, don't wait another moment. Do the thing that would help you to feel more safe and grounded in this moment, because it's those little things that add up to the big things. And then we also have, you create your own reality. What you want wants you to. What do you want to experience? Oh, this card, this tells me that some of y'all feel shame around the things that you desire. Somebody somewhere in your life taught you that you shouldn't desire good things for yourself, or that you're not allowed to. And Spirit is saying that the things that you desire them for a reason. Desire, the only thing desire does, oh, this brings me to such like, when I think about desire and like healing my own wounding with desire, I used to hear this voice in my head that would go, ugh, I want, I want, I want. And like when I would think about wanting or desiring something. And I started with a therapist to dive into that and ask myself, like, where does that voice come from? Who is that? That's not me. And it was my mom's voice. My mom would say that to me as a child when I would express wanting to live in a high-rise building someday, which is totally not my dream now, but it was at one time. Or I wanted to own Vans, like the shoes, things that like I would have wanted as like a teenager. And she would say, after like listing things that I wanted, instead of, you know what, Kloee, go and get those things. You dream those things. She would say, oh, I want, I want, I want. And it was just like this, almost annoyed, like, how dare I dream for something for myself? And I can think of countless times where this was the energy that was given to me and mirrored at me. So much so that I had an internal voice that would repeat that to myself anytime I had a desire. And I think what's so sad is I've had to learn to turn that voice off, because, and maybe this is something you've had to do too, or you need to do, maybe you're not even aware, but desire, there's nothing wrong with desiring things. There's nothing wrong with desiring money, status, wealth, designer bags, shoes. There is nothing wrong, especially with material things. I think that we often get those demonized to us. And there is nothing wrong with desiring things, because when we desire, whether it's a thing or an emotion, desire creates inspired action. That is desire's purpose, is to help us to make like moves in our own favor. So don't feel bad about having big dreams and big desires. You're allowed to have things. You're allowed to want to move towards things and to have things for yourself. If anything, the fact that you want them is a sign that you should have them. And we also have the Wasteland, Sustainability, Slow Down, Tend to Your Garden. So this is also a card here that tells me that you maybe have been doing a lot, and that's why you feel so down and burnt out. Like you've either been giving a lot of your time to others, maybe you have been overworking. There's something about like what you're currently doing doesn't feel sustainable long term. And Spirit is saying you need to slow down and reassess your life right now. This could be reassessing your work-life balance, reassessing your friendships. I would say during Libra season, again, if you're watching this while it's currently going live, we're currently in Libra season, and this is a great time to look at your social circles and ask yourself, who is actually supporting the person I'm becoming and who isn't? And if there are people that aren't, do you need to remove them? Or maybe you need to decide to start to put more distance, to have less time with them. If they, like, it's not like you need an echo chamber. I'm not trying to say that, but I definitely am of the mind, if you are, I don't want to say like every person in your life has to be in like a direct support of you and like your biggest cheerleader when they have their own stuff going on. Obviously, there is some nuance to this topic, but I do feel like if you feel like all of your friendships, like all y'all do is sit and stagnate together, you both need new friends. Like, it's not like you are so terrible for them or they are so terrible for you. It's like people in your life can really change your perspective on life. And if you feel like you hang out with the same people and they make you feel shitty, this is your sign that you need to assess those relationships and y'all both need new friends. New friends, or maybe like even if it's family. I think in today's world, we've gotten a lot better about not just sticking with family because they're family. I actually think that that has been a huge thing on the rise in the mental health world in particular over the last like 4 or 5 years. But I do feel like sometimes we tell ourselves that we have to do something because it's family, and you don't actually. You are allowed to put as many boundaries down as you want. In fact, I have such strong boundaries with my family that I purposefully don't live in the same state as them. I purposefully put myself over a 24-hour drive away because I love them, but I love them at a distance. Like, I do not want family in my everyday life. And I think that that was one of the best decisions I've ever made in my adult life. Of course, I miss out on some things, and there's definitely a sacrifice that comes with that, but it was a sacrifice that my mental health needed. Now, that might not be your story. I'm not saying you need to pick up and move away, but maybe that is something that would actually serve you if you've been thinking about it. Now, we also have, I don't know why I put this card here. We also have for you the Breathing Rose, Heart Healing, Emotions, Connection, Time Eases. So I'm telling you, it's also going to be time. Like, I've given you a lot on how to kind of start to shift this mentality, but time is also going to take care of this. As I've talked about, come November, once we get through these eclipses, I really think a lot of us, if not all of us, are going to be feeling majorly different. Now, we also have for you a couple of cards from the Linda Fabry deck, which is one of my personal favorites. And first we have Escaping the Dream. Free yourself from the cycle of expectation. It is safe to open your eyes, to wake up to your truth, and declare yourself. Oh, wow. I feel like that really kind of hits on what I was just talking about, like moving away from family. Especially if there's those of you that feel trapped by family. Like, don't get me wrong, I know that there are plenty of you that love your families that would never want to leave them. And I'm not speaking directly to you at this moment. For those of you that feel very like stuck or trapped, or like family always like puts you in this box that you don't want to be in, which unfortunately a lot of them do that when they have an expectation of you, but you don't have to live your life in accordance with those expectations. You're allowed to reinvent yourself every single day of the week if you want to. And then we have Passionate Path. The stream of synchronicity flows swiftly when fueled by attention to desire. Oh, I just got the chills. Let your passion lead you. Magic and wonder await you along the way. What did I just say to you about desire? Literally, attention to desire is what fuels your passion. This is why we have desire. It's not because it's something bad that we shouldn't have. It is because it fuels us towards making decisions that are in our highest alignment. Like, to give you like a small example, I have always wanted to have the freedom to create my own schedule. I worked in call centers in my early 20s for several years, and I knew that that life was not for me personally. And I'll never forget like the day that I walked out of my last call center job. I literally powered my computer down, took my headset off, put my badge on the desk, and walked out because I couldn't do it anymore. It was so like earth shattering to me to listen to people yell at me all day. And I knew that I wanted more for myself. And granted, I did not have children. I only had to worry about myself. It was different than I know a lot of people's experiences, but I don't think that that means it's impossible. Did I live on rice for over a month and get evicted from a house at that time? Yeah, I sure did. Did I end up getting led into the greatest journey of my life where I got to work in the gaming industry for 7 years, and now I'm doing something different in the spiritual community where I've really truly thrived and built like a whole business? Yes. But that's because I followed my passion and I believed. Like, I feel like this is like some shit that like Gary Vee would say, which I don't agree with everything he says, but you have to be hungry for it. Like, I feel like that is something that when you start to follow your passion, you got to follow the passion that you are so hungry for. You will do anything to make it happen, even when it's not working, even when you feel like you're not getting the attention that you want. You have to still want it to succeed. If you're somebody that wants to like do your passion for a living or get paid just to be yourself, which I feel like that is a lot of you, you feel like bogged down by maybe the way like your work system is, or the fact that your passion doesn't get as much airtime as you would like. And you have to follow the thing, the desire that feeds you, because that is how you're going to escape. That is how you're going to lead the passionate path. That is how you're going to get out of the wasteland and start to feel replenished. And I'm not telling you it's going to be easy. Like I said to you, even in my own experience, I lived on rice for like a month and lost my home that I was living in at the time. This was back in like 2013, I think. Yeah, 2013. But I ended up in a much better, safer situation from that experience. I'm of the belief that when you have a cursed house, like not literally cursed with like witchcraft, but like just when you live in a home that is just like not for you, I am a firm believer that the next house you roll up into is like a blessing. It has been that way every single time in my life. Like if you're living with your parents right now and you hate it, your next home is going to feel so correct. Like you are not going to move into another cursed situation. And same with like if you live in a home right now that really isn't for you and you can't keep up with it monetarily in this moment, your next place is going to bring you so much peace and ease. I don't know why Spirit is telling me to remind you of that, but We got it. Now, the last few cards we have before we get into the mountain is you is some self-care cards. So these are just some things to do to reconnect to yourself right now and be gentle on yourself. We have connect with fire. So literally, buy yourself some candles, go out to a bonfire, especially if you live in the same hemisphere as me. A lot of places are starting to cool down. So we can, have bonfires outside now. At least where I live, for sure. The weather here is getting so nice. When I say nice, I'm like, it's raining, like that kind of nice, not like sunny weather. I honestly feel like the Pacific Northwest, the weather here is like nice 99% of the time. But connect with fire. This is something that is really going to help you, especially when we come into the eclipse. Maybe you need to do a little fire ritual. Plan a vacation. So you're also being told that you need to get away from your day-to-day grind. The day-to-day is really wearing you thin. And even if you don't have the means to go on this vacation right now, I just want you to set aside some time to dream about it, to plan it, and to really start to make plans to have something to look forward to. And then we also have music. So this could be playing an instrument, learning an instrument, getting back to learning an instrument if you've been doing that and kind of put it away for a while. This can also be about not just learning a new one, but like listening to music. I don't know about y'all, but I am clairaudient and my ears are very sensitive. Like I also have that thing. I don't know what it's called, but it's where like when you listen to music, like your head tingles and it will go through your whole body. Apparently not everybody experiences this. I can't remember what it's called, but it makes it hard for me to listen to music because I feel music so deeply that it can exhaust me when this just keeps happening over and over and over again. Like I can think about a song and give myself goosebumps and like get the head tingles. And when this happens, like if it happens in rapid succession over and over again, it starts to exhaust my energy, which is really interesting, but it makes it hard to connect with music for me. I honestly, if I'm being totally truthful, it's like only when I'm like drinking can I relax enough to just enjoy music. But I love music. It's a beautiful thing. It's something that when I do it, I have to do it with like no distractions. But if that's you, make some time to just enjoy music without distractions. I think it can be a really beautiful thing. Music has the ability to truly change your whole vibe if you let it. Now, let's go ahead and get into The Mountain Is You. So here she is. This is The Mountain Is You by Brianna Weist. We are just going to see what message Spirit has for you. Okay. Oh my gosh. So you are in a section of this book that talks about your subconscious mind is trying to communicate with you. So it gives us examples of the way you self-sabotage. So I'm just going to read this page and then like up to right here because that's these two pages. But we have, so maybe you've been self-sabotaging and you need to hear what is on this page or these pages. This is page 88 through the top of 80, or the top of 90. It says, the way you are self-sabotaging, having self-defeating thoughts that hold you back from doing what you want, what your subconscious mind might want you to know. Being mean to yourself first will not make it hurt less if other people judge or reject you, though this is why you are using this defense mechanism. Thinking the worst of yourself is a way of trying to numb yourself to what you really fear, which is that someone else could say those things about you. What you don't realize is that you're acting as your own bully and enemy by doing it yourself. What could someone else's judgment realistically do to your life? Honestly, it could stop you from pursuing your dreams, ambitions, and personal happiness. And that's exactly what you're doing when you stay fixated on those damaging ideas. It's time to get out of your own way. The way you are self-sabotaging, not promoting your work in a way that would help move you forward. What your subconscious mind might want you to know. You're not creating the best possible work you can, and you sense it. The reason why you're holding back is a fear of judgment, but that won't exist if you weren't already judging yourself. You have to create things you are proud to share, and when sharing them in a positive way that helps grow your business or career feels natural and authentic, you will know that you are doing the work that is best to the best of your ability or potential. The way you are self-sabotaging, ascribing intent or worry that things are about you when they aren't. What your subconscious mind might want you to know. You think about yourself too often. Other people's lives do not revolve around you, nor do their thoughts. They are busy thinking about themselves in the same way that you are thinking about yourself. Remember that patterns in your life are indicative of your own behaviors, but imagining that every time someone cuts you off in traffic is a personal attack, you're going to severely hold yourself back because you'll always be a victim of something. Ooh, that one hurts, Chile. Not for me, but I actually do not get road rage, but I know a lot of people that do. The way you are self-sabotaging, staying in a city or town you claim to dislike. Ooh, we talked about moving away from family too. What your subconscious mind might want you to know. Home is where you make it, not where you find it. Is this an issue of you being unable to move, or are you simply unwilling? Usually when we stay in the same place, there's a reason. There's something we love about it, and it's where we want to spend our lives. The resistance comes in because of the judgment we imagine others may think if they know we don't live in the coolest, biggest, or best area. You might also fear that people will judge you for not having progressed enough. The truth is that you are judging yourself, and you need to make peace or take pride in the way you choose to live where you do. So those were the 2 pages, but those might have been limiting beliefs that you've been having that have been holding you back. This whole book is beautiful. It's called The Mountain Is You, Transforming Self-Sabotage into Self-Mastery. I honestly think I could stand to read this book again. I read it during one of the hardest times in my life, and I think I got a lot from it, but I think I would get even more from it now. So really beautiful book about literally just transforming your life and doing your own work, opening your mind up into the ways that you can take control of your own situation and move forward. So that is what I have for you, pile number 1. I hope this reading helps you to know that better days are coming, good things are coming, and that you do hold the power. You hold the power to transform your situation. And please do not forget, when you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. And if you would like to, please don't hesitate to join the Patreon. It supports me as a creator, and it's a good place to get extra content. Like I said, we talked about it in the beginning, where we do monthly workshops, weekly energy check-ins, there's a book club, and so much more. If you would like to support me further, I also have my Cashapp, Venmo, PayPal, and my wish list down below. Never an expectation, but I do accept tips for my readings as well as gifts. So if you want to send those things, you absolutely can. Everything is down below for you. If you'd like to book me for a personal reading or a birth chart, those are available to you at KhloeTaylor.com. I will never personally solicit you outside of right here in my videos. So if you ever see that on social media, that is a scammer account. You can only purchase readings through KhloeTaylor.com, and only when they're available. Honestly, whenever I put new stock in, they sell out almost immediately. So make sure if you see one in stock that you grab it, because truly I'm always sold out. So, and I don't restock every single week. So just know if you see something there, you better grab it. And I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh, of course, if you'd like to follow me on socials, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. I've been doing a lot more like short form content on my social media accounts, so I would love to have you there if you want like little daily readings or just extra little things for me. I have been putting those things out. So I'm at Kloee Taylor. I have the at Kloee Taylor official handle. And oh, certainly, how could I forget? Probably one of the most important things. If you want to be part of a community of like-minded individuals, make sure that you join our Discord. We have a community Discord. It's free. It's on Apple. It's on Android. It's on desktop. It's on anywhere you can access the internet. You can get on Discord. It's free. Literally, it's completely free. This is not like me trying to sell you something. It is completely free, and we have a pet pictures area. We have a chat for food. We have a general chat. We have an emotional venting space. We have a positive uplifting space. There's just like so many good areas to talk to other like-minded individuals that are just other community members. So if you would like that, be sure to join. And the link for that, of course, is going to be down below for you. And I love you so much, Pumpkin. Please be of good faith and of good cheer, and know that the better it gets, the better it gets. And I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye. All right, pile number 2. If you chose Temperance and This Is How You Heal by Brianna Weist, when you're ready, this is how you heal. If you chose those two things, then this is going to be your reading. So number 1, I think it's really interesting. Pile number 1 had a similar situation where it showed me like basically what is currently going on and then how we're going to fix it. So and we have other cards too. We're not just doing tarot cards. We have oracle cards too that I'll get to in a little bit. But in the beginning, basically where we are right now, which is these two cards, we have the Five of Swords and Judgment. I am going to be very honest with you, and I'm sorry, some of you, this might be a hard one to swallow. You are judging others and yourself way too much. You are definitely playing the comparison game. Like if you are somebody that like spends a lot of time on social media, like it's almost like, don't get me wrong, I think sometimes seeing what other people have and what other people do and create, it can be a really empowering experience because we can remind ourselves, wow, if they have all of that, that means I can have it too. And it can be a really empowering experience to see other people succeed. However, sometimes when we don't feel like we are succeeding and we're feeling really down, it can be really, really harmful to consume a lot of content where we see people having and doing more than us, because we can get into our own head and think, poor me, pity me, why can't I have that? Why can't I do that? Or I think at like some of my worst moments, I'm going to be very authentic with you here for a moment. I've been on this is not like a recent thing, but I've been on TikTok before and literally burst into tears watching like other homeowners and being like, wow, I'm never going to accomplish that. But like, obviously that's in a low moment, right? We have low moments. It doesn't mean that you have to pack up and make that your whole personality and you have to live there now. You can decide to take a step back. I would actually encourage you, if this is you, if you're constantly feeling like you're being flooded by your emotions, or you feel like you're very like cynical and judgmental of yourself and others, because often when we judge other people, it is a direct reflection of how much we judge ourselves. And you can always tell, like if you know somebody in your life that is really judgmental, you have to know that they are not happy on the inside, because it's literally a direct correlation. But if this is you and you've been like really judgmental of yourself or others, it's like this inner battle that's going on. You know, the Five of Swords says we also might have been like picking a lot of fights with people, or maybe we're just feeling really angry, really activated. The other thing I will say when it comes to the Five of Swords is this can also be a victim mentality. Now, before, just like hear me out for a moment. I am the last person that will sit here and tell you that the victim mentality is not worthwhile, because it is. I firmly believe that before we can ever become the hero of our own story, we have to go through victimhood. We have to know what it feels like to be a victim before we can come out the other side a survivor or a hero. And for you, I feel like you've been maybe even stuck in this victim mentality of thinking, poor me, pity me, it's never going to get better. What am I even doing? Nothing feels good. When we get stuck there, we constantly will judge our situation into reflecting that back. So instead of being open to all the possibilities that could happen, it's like we always are lying to ourselves and saying that it can only be this way. I think some of like the most profound stuff that I hear, because like I'm always reading the comments, I'm always here like seeing what other people are saying, and I feel like I'm always amazed when people put timelines on their life. And this might be something that really resonates with you, where it's like, oh, I could move into my own house, but I don't see myself doing that for like 3 years. Or don't get me wrong, I think there is value in planning your life, like not wanting children until you're in your 30s or not wanting to get married until a certain time period. Like I totally respect that. And I think doing what you feel is best for you is always going to be the best call. But I think when we try to have such a strong hold on life all the time, we don't allow for mysticism to happen. For all you know, you could randomly like be given you could win the lottery. Like you have no idea. Somebody in your family could win the lottery and give you a bunch of money. Like you have no idea what mysticism and magic is waiting for you tomorrow. Something could directly change and impact your situation and make you change the entire idea of what you want your life to be like. And again, I'm not saying this doesn't mean like don't have goals and don't try to pursue towards things, but I feel like the moment you think you have it all figured out is really the moment where you need to look at yourself and say, actually, no, I don't. Because what I'm getting from this is you're not allowing yourself to expand, because temperance, which we have here, is a card that does talk about balance, but it also talks a lot about expansion. And if we're not allowing ourselves to expand because we're stuck in this victim mentality of nothing is good, I can't achieve anything, this is going to take X amount of years, we constantly keep ourselves stuck there. And I think what is even worse with like the Five of Swords is oftentimes we'll surround ourselves with people who also talk this way, who also feel this way. And it's funny, pile number one, I said this to as well, but in a different way. I'm a firm believer that if you feel like you are stagnating or not growing in a relationship anymore, not like literally 1 week it was different, like months of stagnation, I am a firm believer that both y'all need new friends. Like, not to say that you need to totally remove this person or these people, but if you feel like you are constantly stagnating around the other people, or you're always having the conversation of victim mentality, or you're always not allowing yourself to grow beyond this, I am a firm believer that you need to start making new friends. And again, not because there's something wrong with these people, not because they're bad, but it's almost like that phrase, like, you are the 5 people that you spend the most time around. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying if like you have a friend that smokes that means you're going to smoke. I actually think that that's bullcrap. I think we don't have to give in to like peer pressure in that way, but I do think that we will pick up on people's mannerisms. We'll pick up on people's ideas, on people's beliefs. And that isn't always a good thing for us. Sometimes that takes away our magic, that takes away our mysticism. It doesn't allow us to believe that good things can happen. And don't get me wrong, again, I'm not saying we need like an echo chamber 24/7, but if you feel like you are stagnating in a group with a lot of victim mentality and judgment being passed around, maybe even a lot of gossip, this is your sign that you need to grow in a new direction and you need to start meeting new people. And if you don't know where to start, I actually have an answer for you. We have a community Discord. We have a community Discord that is completely free. This is not an advertisement. It's literally a free service. It's not something that you have to like subscribe or pay for. Our community Discord is, I think, over 1,000 people strong now. And it's just a place where you can connect with like-minded individuals about the things that you enjoy. We have a spiritual section. We have a pet pictures, a food section, emotional venting. We have an uplifting section. We do a challenge every month as well. We haven't started the October challenge yet as I'm making this video, but we probably will have already started by the time it goes out. So, if you're not sure about where to make friends, don't discount your online spaces. Always be safe, of course, but we live in such a blessed and beautiful timeline where we have opportunities to meet and speak to people that our parents never had the opportunity to have. And literally all of my friends, except one, are all in different states or different countries. I don't have a lot of people that are right here in my vicinity. All of my friends are virtual, and I do see them in person periodically. But my point is that we live in such a way that we are able to connect with people around similarities or spiritual belief or whatever it is that you want to get into. We live in such a beautiful and blessed time where we can meet people from all over the world from the comfort of our home. There has never been another timeline where we have been able to do that. So, just saying, if you feel like you need new people in your life, that's a good way to get started. Now, temperance, I feel like, is the changeover point. So, temperance, this is about literally changing your surroundings, tempering yourself into new environments. When you temper something on the stove, it is like say you want to put like eggs into a soup. Greek lemon soup is like this. You actually temper eggs into the soup. And when you do this, you don't want to pour the eggs directly into the hot broth because it will scramble your eggs immediately. You have to slowly ladle some of the hot broth and like whisk it into the eggs. And you keep doing this until the eggs are cooked, but they have that same consistency of like egginess. And then you put it into the entire like pot of soup. This is called tempering because otherwise you do things too quickly, too fast, and then you're scared. So temper yourself into this. Join a community. Gosh, even if you join the Patreon and join the book club, like there you go. Now, granted, not to toot my own horn, but like beep beep, okay? If you need more like-minded individuals in community, I definitely think that our community is a beautiful one to be in. But I feel like you need to temper yourself into new environments. Maybe it's finding a local community event. Gosh, I know even where I live, Seattle area, they do every first Thursday of the month. You can go to the art museum in Seattle for free. Like community events like that. It doesn't have to cost money, but you can meet other people that are interested in art at those events, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like you definitely need to give yourself more space and grace to open your mind a little bit more. I feel like you have been a lot more closed-minded and that's really not been working to your benefit. Then we have the Princess of Wands and the Knight of Wands, which I love for you. I know that this message was supposed to be gentle and I feel like y'all just got like slapped on the wrist right here and I'm sorry. The rest of the message will not be like that. I can feel it. But as you kind of temper yourself into these new environments, as you allow yourself to sit with new people, as you allow yourself to expand, you're going to get new ideas. You're going to get a new boost of creativity. If you've been feeling really stuck and stagnated, this is where your vision is going to come to life. It's like you are going to become the visionary. Have you ever sat next to somebody who is a visionary that just like thinks in a totally different way from you and they just have such a vision for their life and what they want and what they're going to pursue? This is going to become you. And with the Princess of Wands, this is like you get new ideas, you get new creative inspiration, and then the Knight of Wands says that you're acting on it. So I think especially if you've been really feeling stuck, you're going to get unstuck, but this is how you do it. Then we also have for you, the collective field is impacting you, unforeseen forces in action. How can you relinquish control of the situation that feels blocked? So I feel like this is more about this like victim mentality where you feel stuck, where you feel like you're surrounded by the same people every day that maybe don't always have your best interests at heart. Spirit is saying that there might be some energy that is keeping you stuck, and how can you release and let go, which I feel like we've kind of already covered. And then we have, there is strength in doing nothing. Wait, what have you been forcing and how can you let go of the outcome? So when we talk about that tempering, right, with temperance, when we talk about tempering yourself, I get the sense that you might be one of those people after my own heart, that you might be one of those like all or nothing people where you want to do everything or you don't want to do it at all. And I'm telling you, this is why you keep circling back to this place, is because you need to go slower. If you start to try to do everything all at once to change your life, don't get me wrong, I think that a lot of like brute force can get you somewhere, but eventually you collapse under the pressure. And Spirit is saying there's actually a lot of strength in stopping and analyzing why you are feeling the way that you're feeling and why this is coming up for you. And there's also strength in stopping and deciding how you want to temper yourself, how you want to create more balance, more clarity, and take your time in making those decisions. Like, if you're not ready to download Discord and be in that kind of environment, don't do that right now. Do it when you feel ready. I feel like you really need to stop and assess why. Like, where does this inner judgment or victim mentality come from? Is it even yours? Is this something that was given to you by a family member? Is this something that maybe other people around you keep saying, so you have started to repeat it? There's power in stopping and waiting. We have the rose without thorns. You have a right to your joy, peace, and sweetness of life. So what this tells me is if you've been feeling like there's been a lack of peace, again, in these social circles, in this way of existing, you have a right to peace. Some of y'all, I feel like, are very afraid to set boundaries with people. And that's normal. I think in today's world, a lot of us haven't been taught how to do that, or we're really new to doing it. And you're allowed to set a boundary for your peace. You're allowed to, like, gosh, I recently was talking to my brother who, without airing everything, because that's his business, like, he was talking about like working alongside my dad and how irritating that can be. And I said to my brother, it sounds like you need boundaries. Like, you don't have any boundaries. And he said, what am I supposed to do? Walk away from my dad when I'm out on the job? And I said, yeah. Like, walk away, or especially if like you have a means of somebody else picking you up, let him finish the day by himself. You have to teach people how to respect and treat you, and they're not going to like it at first. Most people don't like it when you set boundaries down because they benefited from you not having them. And they're not going to like it. They're not going to see it your way. It takes a really strong individual that has done a lot of deep internal work to be able to see somebody's boundary and go, oh, okay, that totally makes sense. And like, even if it doesn't make sense to me, it doesn't need to. That's their boundary. And a lot of people, especially if you haven't grown up in that kind of environment, a lot of people are new to this, and it's going to take time for them to catch up. But you're allowed to protect your peace. You're not a bad person if you put distance between yourself and people that don't allow you to feel that peace. We have we are nature, becoming grounded, embodiment, living in connection. So I do feel like if you are calling in new friendships, new people, you are going to meet people that are a lot more grounded and centered. And that's really what you need to start becoming in order to attract these people. Because we are nature. Literally everything that we share, like, did you know everything on this planet that is like living has DNA? And my husband was just telling me this yesterday, and it was so profound. He was saying that like it's only like 5% of our DNA is different. Like, we have the same DNA as like a cat, but like 5% of it is different. And we literally are nature. Nature is full of living things. We share DNA with everything. And we literally are nature, but yet we look at nature and we think that it can't support us, or that we have to like, oh my gosh, I think I posted this on my Instagram like 2 days ago. It was like, I'm just supposed to have my titties out and eat fruit. I don't know what the hell all this other shit is. And this is where I get up on my soapbox about, why we have credit scores and social security numbers and all this shit that doesn't even matter, when literally we are nature and we are divine, and we are an embodiment of the divine. Like, ugh. So just remember that. Remember that when you feel afraid or scared, or like it's all too much too fast, or you feel frustrated by your environment, remember that you are nature and you're allowed to slow down. You're allowed to be cyclical. You're allowed to do what nature does. And then we have access your alchemy, transform yourself through personal expression. Fear becomes a strength as it passes through the fire. Yours is a long line of alchemists, and you'll inspire many more. You are worthy of the crown. Ooh, I'm just going to let that be a message in and of itself. That's beautiful. Then we have promised land. When you feel like a vessel lost at sea, remember you're also the sun, the sky, and the warm ocean breeze. You are exactly where you need to be today. The promise isn't just for landing, for the songs we'll sing on the way, but for the songs we'll sing on the way. Ooh, that gave me the chills, especially because I was just talking about how we are nature. And then we literally get a message that says, remember, you're also the sun, the sky, and the warm ocean breeze. That's beautiful. Like, I think this is also a lot about, like, of course, keep your long-term vision in mind for yourself, but know that you also need to fall in love with the journey along the way. If you're not in love with the journey, it makes the victory a lot less sweet for the direction that you're going right now. Now, these last few cards before we get into your book, these are just cards of self-care, some things that Spirit would like you to pay attention to right now that are really going to help you. So we do have create art. So create art any way that you see fit. I do see, because you have the Page of Wands and the Knight of Wands, this is definitely a very artistic mood. So get yourself a journal, start committing to an art practice. I do feel like drawing or painting or pastels or calligraphy, there's definitely something with like a brush or a pen that you need to connect with. Maybe even automatic writing you might want to look into. Then we have health checkup. Now, this card does not come up to scare you. I don't think this is like you have some kind of disease. It's not that. I think this is more about like there could be a hormonal imbalance. There could be a vitamin deficiency, something that maybe could actually help your mental health. So just, if you haven't done it in a while, consider going and getting a blood panel done and just making sure everything's good. And then we have pleasure. So pleasure, I like this card, not just because it's not just about pleasuring your body yourself, like having some solo moments, if you will. It's also pleasure in the sense of getting in touch with the sensation of all of life's pleasures. So getting in touch with the senses, taste, sight, touch, smell, really getting into the pleasure of the moment, of the present moment. Also, don't be afraid to get a little bit of solo time in there. I firmly believe that post-nut clarity is a thing. And yeah, I said it. It is a thing. And sometimes your greatest breakthroughs come after that, literally. So, don't feel like you can't connect. I feel like sexual pleasure is sacred, whether it's by yourself or with someone that you trust. It is sacred in nature. And I think one of the biggest lies that religion tells us is that it's like dirty or wrong, or it creates like the original sin. No, it doesn't. It's actually like when you actually hit that moment, the peak, if you know what I'm saying. I'm trying not to get demonetized here. When you hit the peak, literally every single one of your chakras is lit up, because that's what happens. It sends a surge of like energy through the chakra system, and you can gain so much clarity from that space. So that is what I have for you there. We're going to go ahead and get into your book now. So if you chose the When You're Ready, This Is How You Heal, we're going to go ahead and just flip to a random page and see what Spirit wants you to hear about right now. Okay, so let's see how long. Okay, this one's a little lengthy, so we're going to be here for a minute. So I hope like you don't have to watch this. Like you can just leave this on and kind of like walk around your room or put your headphones in, go make lunch, dinner, or breakfast. You don't have to watch this because it's not going to be very visual if you just want to tune in for a moment. So we have, read this if you're on the brink of a breakthrough, but you are afraid to take the leap. There is a path to everything you know is waiting for you, even if you don't know what that is right now. Sometimes the paths we plan too intently end up limiting us in some way. There are possibilities available to your future self that your current self won't be able to consider. All your mind can pull from is what it knows. And if you're trying to build a life outside of that, then you're going to have to open yourself to the possibility that not only is there a path toward, but that it may very well lead somewhere better than you thought it would. Sometimes we don't know because we can't know. The very fact of us knowing would disrupt the timing of what is unfolding. The very fact of us knowing would prevent us from learning the lessons that are here for us today. And those lessons, they aren't a due we have to pay or a purgatory we are being stuck in. They are the building blocks of the character of the person who is opening up to this next level of their existence. That's where you are right now. What's here for you right now contains within it the wisdom and the growth needed to unlock the next phase. I hope this I hope that instead of wondering and worrying how you will ever move forward, you can simply recall all the other times you feared you never would and you did. You can remember that you never would have imagined exactly what led you to the most good things in your life. And I hope that will inspire you to keep your heart open to wonder, to mystery, to the infinite unknown, through which everything beautiful and important will emerge. Also, I'm really sorry if you hear that. My husband, it sounds like he's making a smoothie in the next room. So I'm so sorry if you can hear the appliance. I hope you will break loudly, fail toward what matters. Let yourself know deep love, even if it means you could lose it. There is no merit in holding back, nothing gained but a life half lived. If you can say nothing else of yourself, there is no merit in holding back, nothing gained but a life half lived. If you can say nothing else of yourself, say that you had courage, say that at least you tried, and even if you never quite arrive, allow your legacy to be one of tenacity, and where you did not allow the fear to stop you from doing what you were born to do, or having the life you were meant to experience. If you screw it up, you screw it up. If you get your heart smashed into a million pieces, you get your heart smashed. If you say the wrong thing, you say the wrong thing. Please do not allow one more moment of your brief and beautiful life to pass where you remain paralyzed beneath the fear of not doing everything just perfectly, a fear that has led you to resist doing anything meaningful at all. The truth is that very people who fear such things so deeply are often the same ones who have the most to offer, who have the most honest hearts and willing minds. We did not come here to arrive at death untouched and unmoved, precisely as we were at the beginning. The world needs more people like you to show up bravely, even if you never get to the other side. Will you be all right if you go your entire life knowing you never even tried? Maybe the kindest possible thing you could do for yourself right now is just be honest with yourself. Trust yourself. Know that your feelings are valid, and maybe they're trying to move you somewhere you've never been before. Maybe the kindest possible thing you could do for yourself is be your whole self, even if you fear you won't be accepted. Maybe the kindest thing you could do is to be as open to your own soul as you can be, even if not everyone understands you. Maybe the kindest thing you could do for yourself is to stop smoothing out every feeling that moves you from the comfortable path, knowing that maybe this urge comes from somewhere and maybe it has a greater purpose. Maybe you will give someone else permission to be their honest selves. Maybe you will be their living proof that more is possible. Maybe you will become the kind of guide for others that you yourself never had. And maybe in the end, the kindest possible thing you could do for yourself is to know that there is nothing that holds us back more than the important words that went unspoken, the deep instincts that went unfelt, the callings that went unanswered. Your life is reaching toward you, and maybe the kindest possible thing you can do is reach back. As times go on, you will begin to see the magic in the process. You will begin to understand why things had to happen precisely the way they did. You will realize that if you did not have the exact experience you had just as you had had them, you would have missed out on some essential lessons and tools and pieces of wisdom that built you into the person you are today, the person who will keep walking you forward. When you look back on the past, you will see the purpose in how everything unfolded. And I'm here to tell you that one day you'll see it in what's happening right now too. You just have to keep going. One day you're going to look back on this time and realize you were always right where you were meant to be. Wow. If I could give you some perspective on this, even in my own life, I talked to you about how, I think I said this in pile number 1, not pile 2, but I've talked to y'all about how I lost a home when I was in pursuit of my dreams. I didn't own a home, but I lost the home that I was renting. I got basically verbally evicted from a space, and I lived on rice for a month, and it was a really hard and difficult time that I didn't have much, and I was really miserable and really scared and really frightened. and I ended up in one of the best positions I'd ever been in. My career got reestablished. I moved into an apartment that I fell in love with. Like everything changed for the better from that place. And even right now, I'm kind of in a similar situation, not exactly the same. I'm definitely better off now than I was back then, but I've been experiencing some financial difficulty and I'm scared because of those past experiences. But I remind myself how everything worked out when I never thought it was going to. And I want to say it's like I have a video where I talked about spirit guides on my channel and I went in more detail about this story. And everything like super magically worked out better than I ever could have imagined. And it's that original story that keeps me going today, that keeps me reminding myself, like, it's going to be okay. The universe has me. Everything is going to work out. I'm in this situation right now because it's doing something to serve my future. It's moving me in a way that I wouldn't have moved. And I just want you to remember that as you feel like a victim of life or circumstance, or you feel outwardly judgmental, as you temper yourself into new environments and gain the courage to rise again, this is going to be that for you. This is going to be that story that when things feel impossible, you're going to go, oh, no, it is possible because this has happened before. And look at how much beauty emerged from that. And that is what I have for you, pile number 2. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do not forget, when you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. Don't forget to check out the Patreon if you want extra content from me or you just want to support me as a creator. It's one of the greatest platforms I find to do that, and you get a bunch of extra content for doing it. We also have my Cashapp, Venmo, PayPal, and my wish list down below. Zero expectation to ever send me money or buy me a gift, but if this reading touched you in some way and you are feeling generous, I certainly always appreciate it. I always say that it goes back into my channel. I buy decks with it, candles, crystals, all that stuff if it's something there, unless you tell me to do something different with it. Like I recently got a donation from somebody and they just said, take yourself on a luxurious dinner. So I did that, and thank you for that. But I always pour it back into the channel unless you tell me to do something else with it. And I also have, if you're interested, my readings. You can book a tarot card reading or a birth chart with me at KhloeTaylor.com. I will never solicit you anywhere else, so never feel like that is me. If you're up on social media and you see that, that's always going to be a scammer account. I will only ever talk about my readings here. You can only book through my website, KhloeTaylor.com. And if you'd like to follow me around the web, I am at Kloee Taylor on all platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, etc. And I have like the official Kloee Taylor. There's no underscores, no periods, no extra letters. And I already told you about the Discord, so that is that. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love you, pumpkin, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye. Hello there, pile number 3. If you chose the Emperor as well as my favorite, Ceremony by Brianna Weiss, this is my favorite book of hers. It's the easiest one to read too, but I didn't want to say that in the beginning because I didn't want people to all choose it because it's my favorite. So if you chose this pile, this is like my favorite book of hers. But this is going to be your reading. Now, I just want to encourage y'all, if you haven't done so, just because I did between this reading. I've got my cup here. This is one of those cups that like stays hot, which is cool. But I have some raspberry tea here that I'm enjoying, and I just want to encourage you to either pop your headphones in and take this video out to your kitchen and make yourself a cozy little beverage, a matcha, a coffee, a tea, or, you know, pause the video, go make yourself a little drink and come back, because I am definitely going to be enjoying some tea sips. And I do need to be drinking the tea because y'all are my last pile of this, and I do feel like, I don't know if it's just like the weather change or what's going on, but I'm finding that my voice is starting to like feel the weight of all of the talking that I've been doing today, all the talking and reading. So just bear with me if I'm stopping to take some sips of tea in this reading. But so your reading, you actually have probably, I don't want to say that any of the readings today were negative. I think all of them had really positive attributes to them, but I think your reading has like the utmost of positive cards. So I do feel like what you're currently dealing with, if there is like any point of stress, I don't really get the idea that you are insanely stressed out right now. I do feel like maybe you were most recently, but you are actually finding your own way out of it. And I say that because we have Queen of Cups, Three of Pentacles, the Emperor, the King of Cups, Two of Wands. And what this says to me is I do feel like if there was any problems, like this is kind of, these two cards are the problem or like what you've been working through. With Queen of Cups and Three of Pentacles, you have already been working on this, on like trusting your own intuition over the people around you. And like, to put this into perspective for you, let's say that you are somebody that has dreams, goals, and vision for yourself, but you constantly surround yourself with people that tell you that you work too much or too hard because you work a 9 to 5, but then at the end of your day, you're making 1 to 2 hours to work on a side project or work on a side hustle. And you have somebody constantly in your life telling you you work too much, but this is somebody that hasn't accomplish the thing that you're trying to accomplish. And I think for a long time, you've really let yourself sit in this. You've judged yourself. You have told yourself that it's too much. And this actually had stopped you for quite a while. And recently, you're actually realizing that your intuition and where you're being led is way more powerful than listening to all of the other people in your life. And the reason that I feel like this is more of a gentle message for you is you're not out here trying to fight anybody. You're not out here like, hey, F you and you and you for saying that to me or telling me that I do too much. Like, how dare you? You're literally just saying, oh, this person hasn't been where I'm going. And I don't need to say anything to them. They can think what they want, but I'm going to keep doing me. And I think you have a really good head on your shoulders about what you're doing. Now, that was just the one example, but I do feel like you are getting to a place where you're realizing that your support system, though it is supportive, you have good people around you. They have good intentions, but you also have to remember that their intentions for you might not always align with the intentions that you have for yourself. And it doesn't mean that they have bad intentions for you. It's that, again, they haven't gone where you're trying to go. They haven't accomplished what you're trying to accomplish. And you can't keep taking advice from people like that. It doesn't mean that you can't be friends with them, that you can't share ideas with them. But remember that whenever they try to give you advice, ask yourself if the life that they are living is the life that you desire. Because if it is, then take their advice. But if it's not, you don't have to take that advice. You don't have to internalize it. You can actually follow your own way. And I really do think that you have a good head on your shoulders about this. And I say that because the Emperor is sitting at the heart of your reading. And this is also why I gave you the example of a side hustle, because the Emperor is usually about building something for yourself, building an empire for yourself. Now, we also have the King of Cups and the Two of Wands, which does tell me if you're somebody that is an entrepreneur, you're building an empire. Spirit is saying that, number one, this could literally be you and your partner working together. Like the King of Cups and the Queen of Cups and the King of Cups love to be together. All the court cards love to be with their counterpart. So this doesn't mean that you're in a relationship with a man or a woman either. Like, it's not a gendered thing. But the point I'm trying to make is like, there is somebody else in your midst that actually does have the ability to help you build. And this could be somebody that's in the same field that you're trying to get into. This could be, again, your romantic partner. The thing about the King and Queen of Cups that is different is the Queen of Cups draws on her intuition to lead her. She is highly creative. She is highly intuitive, and that's where her well actually starts to come out, being in her own creative element when she is building something. The King of Cups, the difference is that though he can build from an emotional well, he isn't necessarily going to be the most creative. He is the one that has like a gentle attitude towards the business front. He is the one that can manage people a lot more gentler. You are the person, no matter which you identify as, I think you're more of the creative, intuitive leader, where the King of Cups is somebody that can help you kind of manage this in a way that feels good for you, in a way that like, I feel like when we're trying to build empires, a lot of us that are consciously building, we always want to remind ourselves not to like step on people on our way to the top. That's never what we're trying to do. And I think having this King of Cups in your midst, somebody that you can actually look towards for either advice or actually partnering with them, they have this beautiful finessing way of doing that, of helping you manage from a heart-centered space. And again, I don't even think that you're dealing with so much conflict. I actually think you're in a really good position. And the Two of Wands tells me that like you are meant to continue to grow your creative endeavors. And the person that you are attached to that is in your midst with you, they actually have the ability to help support you in this, and you should bring them into it with you. So if they're willing, anyways, you know, sometimes you might say to your significant other, hey, I'm trying to build this business, and they want like no part of it. But it's something that I think maybe you haven't considered, that they could actually take part in helping you with this, not doing the same thing. Or if this is like a friend or a family member, not doing the part that you're doing, not doing the creating, not doing the aesthetic, the artistry, but doing the like, again, more of like the business front of things and leading from a heart-centered place. Because I do feel like the two of you together literally have the ability to create something so beautiful, because we have the Two of Wands, which is all about expansion and getting to like expand on a dream together. I think it's really interesting that this has come up again. I think in a recent reading of mine, something like this came up where I talked about like somebody working with their significant other, which I think that these readings come to me because I do this in my own life. Me and my husband work like together. He is the full-time editor and relationship manager, but it's funny to me that these have come up so frequently. Like, I think we've even seen the King and Queen of Cups together specifically in a recent, like, or it might have been King and Queen of Pentacles, but same energy of pairing together, especially with the Emperor building something together. And for some of you, this might be just for like literally one person. Know that if this is not what you're on about, like this is not your message. But some of you also might just be trying to get pregnant, and you've let other people's like things get into your head about it. That's the thing that you're trying to build, is literally an infant. And Spirit is saying that you will with this person. Like you will. The Two of Wands is literally holding like the world, holding that like circle in front of her belly. It is like creating life, creating like, do you see what I'm saying? Like the symbolism is all there. Two creating one, right? Two creative individuals creating one, creating the world. And when you think about like us as individuals, we are just a reflection of the universe. Literally the same stuff that runs through our blood is the same stuff that stars are made out of. So I feel like for somebody out there, this could be like you've been really struggling or stressing about like work and pregnancy, but I'm telling you, it's all going to work together for your highest good. And this is just like the confirmation that you needed. Now, if that's not you, the pregnancy stuff, I do feel like there is some kind of side hustle that is emerging that is going to become the main. Like this has potential to be something big. It has the ability to build community, and you just need the assurance right now. You picked this pile because you need the reassurance that this is going somewhere, that you're scared right now. You're scared of trusting your intuition. You're scared to leap. You're scared to dream. And Spirit brought you to this reading because you need to be open to the dream. And this is your confirmation. Now, we also have for you, forgiveness will set you free. And you are the joy seeker. So I think it's interesting that you get forgiveness will set you free. What do you need to forgive yourself for? I knew before even reading the sentence, this is about forgiving yourself. So remember how I told you in the beginning of this reading that you let other people into your head? You need to forgive yourself because I feel like you've wasted a lot of your time listening to what other people have to say, and you're mad at yourself for doing that. You need to forgive yourself because now you know better and you can move forward, and you're not going to let this happen again. And you are the joy seeker. What little victories can you celebrate? If, like, let's say, for example, you started a YouTube channel, okay? When you hit that first 200, 100, 200, 500, 1,000 subscriber mark, you need to celebrate that. When I was building this channel, the Kloee Taylor channel, I haven't done it in a while and I need to bring it back, but maybe when we hit 95K, I'll like go and do something special. But I used to go out at every 1,000. My husband and I would go out and get dessert. We would go to this local beach where we were living at the time. There was like a lake beach in Utah that we would go out to, and we would just sit and watch the sun, not look directly into it because it'll burn your eyeballs, but you know what I mean. And we would eat like this really amazing plant-based tiramisu that was my favorite dessert. And just like celebrate me, relish in the things that I was creating and doing and building. And maybe you've gotten away from this. Maybe you see like, this is like the epitome of receiving a ton of views on a video, and then you don't get back to that same amount of views, so you're upset. And you're constantly trying to strive for that same level of viewership, that same level of popularity. And honestly, it gets you in the wrong mindset. You don't allow yourself to actually be intuitively called towards your business. You start to focus too much on the numbers getting numbery. And you need to leave that to the other person that is going to be a part of this business with you. Or leave it to the systems, the algorithms. Don't look at those things to base everything you're going to do off of that. Because you need to start celebrating the victories that you have accomplished. It's not always the subscriber or the view count. It's, oh my gosh, for 3 days in a row, I posted a TikTok. It's, hey, I stepped out of my comfort zone and I created something new. I should celebrate that, So celebrate the little things. Then we have for you morning dew, clarity, a fresh start, positive outlook. So this to me just goes hand in hand with what I was already saying about not letting other people stop you from doing what you're trying to do. And you now have the clarity going forward. This is a fresh start for you. You're not going to let people tell you how you should move, what you should do. You know better now. And we also have the sacred union. Oh my gosh, this really is business with your significant other, I feel like. It could be a friend, like I said, but I really feel like it's you and a partner. Beloved within inner and outer relationships. So this is like a sacred union. This was meant to happen. This was something that was always going to happen for you, and you need to trust it. Like I said, even if you're somebody that hasn't considered bringing your significant other or a close friend or an intimate relationship into your line of work, they have such an ability to help you that it might be a little rough in the beginning, but it is good. It was supposed to happen this way. We also have embody your awakening, dance with the fire in your soul, let yourself feel, set yourself free. So you are meant to show up and just create. You are meant to be the creator. And you actually will have the ability through this union, through this partnership, through listening to your intuition to show up as that creator and not to get, again, so stuck in the algorithm, the numbers, the sales, don't get me wrong, I do think that there is value in addressing those things, but they are not the end all be all. Your creativity is really where it is. And then we have self-reflection. When you reach out from the depths of your soul or peer into the mirror of wonder and curiosity, what returns is not merely an echo of self, but a calling. The divine is always returning your gaze, yet we often dismiss it as our own reflection. I'm going to let that be a message in and of itself. Spirit isn't giving me anything extra. And then these last few cards before we get into your book are just some ideas for self-care on how to connect to yourself and start to trust yourself more, because I do think that you are currently on a journey of learning how to expand your life. Again, like the best way I can explain this to you is you've let people in your head so much that your life has shrunk. Your life has shrunk in the sense that, I talked about this recently, I think on a podcast episode that might already be out, but Divine Authenticity, if you're not following, you should. It's available everywhere you listen to podcasts, and it's like all about like mental health, spirituality, all the good things. But I talked about this in a recent podcast episode where when your life is shrinking, it's like you have a bad experience talking to someone on the phone. So you decide you're not going to talk on the phone anymore. And that shrinks your life. You don't talk on the phone anymore. You have a bad interview. So you decide that interviews now are anxiety inducing and you don't want to do it anymore. That shrinks your life. You hear a spooky sound in the woods when you're out on a walk. So now you decide that walking isn't safe and you stop going out and walking. Like all of these things happen and you keep shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. And I think what was happening before is people were giving you genuine advice that they thought was good for you, but it caused you to say, oh, that's not safe, so I shouldn't do that. That's not safe, so I shouldn't do that. And you've shrunk yourself down so far. But the thing is, you're not going to be able to just snap your fingers and move forward and change everything you've been doing. It's going to take time to start to rebuild that trust. You have to pick one area. And when it comes to your business, your creative endeavors, you have to start listening to you more than listening to others. And I think that's really where you're going to have the biggest breakthrough, is not looking at your analytics, not looking at what other people think you should be doing, and just focusing on what do I want to create and how can I show up for this creation to be birthed through me. And that is going to bring you the most astounding change. But on top of that, I do have, like I said, some self-care notes that I feel like Spirit would really like you to get into that are going to help you on this journey. So we have Look to the Stars. So just get more into astrology. I'm always going to recommend to you the book Moonology by Yasmin Boland. It is one of my favorite astrology books that I've ever read. There are a multitude of others. That's like not the holy grail or anything, but I feel like when you're just starting out, if you don't have a previous knowledge of astrology, it's a really good one to start with. And it teaches you a lot. So Moonology, I'll link it down below, Moonology by Yasmin Boland. I'll link it with the other books that we have for this reading. We also have Dream Journal. So because your intuition with the Queen of Cups, you are having really prophetic dreams. And it doesn't mean that you need to take your dreams literally. Like, somebody dying in your dreams doesn't mean they're going to die in real life. But looking for the symbolism. Dreams and your subconscious speak through symbolism. So when you have a dream and you recall it in the morning, your dreams are highly prophetic right now. You have the ability to get messages through your dreams. Keeping a dream journal might be really helpful. We have Clear Your Energy Field. You need to be prioritizing spiritual hygiene. If you have to get into a bath a few times a week to cleanse your aura, please do that. And then we also have massage. So book yourself a massage or ask your significant other to give you a nice little rub down. Your body is needing some extra love and tender care right now, and it's asking for it. So, don't be afraid to either do like a self massage or ask for one or book one if you have the financial means to do so. These are things that are going to help you right now as you are learning to trust yourself again. Now, we're going to go ahead and get into the book divination. I might read you a couple out of this book for your pile because the entries are usually pretty short, so you might get more than one. So again, this is Ceremony by Brianna Wiest. It's one of my favorites. We're going to go ahead and just flip to a random page. Okay, I'm going to read both of these and then I'm going to pick one more. Y'all get 4 pages. The people, places, and things that are destined for you are the ones that give you as much energy as they take. What's meant for us becomes a symbiotic force. When we move toward what's right moves towards us. Then we have, it's okay if you are still healing into the person you want to be. And then I'm going to do 2 more. Ooh, these ones are a little bit longer. Oh, this one's really long. Well, Spirit said you need to hear it, so we're going to read them. So we have, what if there is a path for you that is greater than what you can envision? What if there is a life for you that is more than you ever would even know to ask for? What if you are inherently unknowingly limited by your old perspectives, your outdated ideas of what is possible? What if all the discomfort within your being is simply trying to redirect you to a place beyond anything you've considered before? What if there's more than you know? What if there's more than you know? What if there is more than you know? Sorry. What if there are things out there so good you don't even know you're waiting for them? And then we have this one that is quite a few pages, but again, the Spirit said you needed to hear it, so here we are. The past that you believe is currently holding you back is nothing but a memory. It's an image that lives in your mind and in your mind alone. The past is not a painting in a museum. It is not a portrait that we can gaze at and identify each brushstroke and contour. It is a semblance of emotion, a series of recollection, most of which became increasingly more distorted over time. Do you ever wonder why the things that seem to drum up your heart and sink your stomach while you're caving in on yourself are one-dimensional ideas of what might have happened, or how someone may have seen it? Out of your entire life, why is it that some experiences carry so much weight over others? Why is it that you distilled a memory down to its most haunting form? Is this the full truth or your story? I'm just going to take a little tea sip real quick. I want you to feel into your body. Feel the tension and constriction in your bones. Feel the weight of what you have been carrying for, of what you have been carrying, sorry. Feel the weight of what you have been carrying for all these years. Feel your feet and your legs and your hips and your neck. Feel the contractions, how your cells are constructing your body as the first line of defense in a battle that is long, long over. As you feel this more and more deeply, I want you to tell yourself something over and over again. The past is gone. All that exists is this moment. The past is gone, and when we try to resurrect pieces of it without its full context, we hurt ourselves for no reason. There is no wisdom to be gained this way. There is no lesson to be learned. There is nothing that is added to our current lives, nor our future ones. There is only time that is taken away. The past is gone, and when we try to let our most impulsive thoughts tell us what it was or what it meant, we rob ourselves of the experience that was our own life. Every step, every chance, every person, every encounter, and even everything you think you did wrong was building the person that you would one day become. Before you start thinking that good people can only be a collection of positive experiences, please remember that you often must first realize that what is wrong before you will know what is right. You must know that love isn't to know what love is. You must be who you aren't to discover who you are. Instead of belittling the vision of you that was holding themselves up in whatever way they know how, thank them. The version of your future rested within their minds. You are only here today because of what they did and how they did it. Could you imagine if they knew that after all that, their future self would look back on them and sum them up by the smallest details that they couldn't even control? Oh, that makes me want to cry. I'm sorry. You owe yourself more than this. You owe your life more than this. It's time to let go of the past, though of course it's already gone. There's nothing that you have to release other than your idea that these old experiences are still with you now, because they aren't. There's nothing that you have to release other than the fact that your life is not just one thing. When we carry the past into the present, it's because the experience feels unfinished. But what we don't realize is that the only way to complete it is to take everything we wish we could have had and then to pursue it completely right now. The most damaging way to live is not to stay small so the world is never given the opportunity to hurt us on occasion, but that we hurt ourselves every day, insisting that we might not be able to start living now because something behind us once didn't go as we planned. Courage is to show up and live anyway. Change is to show up and live anyway. Truth is to show up and live anyway. The memories will keep coming for a while. They don't leave because we tell them to. They slowly fade as we fill our minds with new things, more captivating, more compelling, more worth our attention. We do not let go by standing within the ruins, but by building the life that was trying to emerge all along. Wow. I'm sorry, that one got me in my feels. This truly is my favorite book that she's written. It's just perfect in every way. Oh, I just dropped my rose quartz on the floor. Sorry. Oh, let's just take a deep breath after that one, yo. One more time. In through the nose and sigh it out and out the mouth. Dang. That one got me, y'all. In any case, thank you so much for tuning in. That is your reading. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do not forget, when you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. Don't forget to check out the Patreon if you would like to support me as a creator. It's a great place to do so. Please, please, please do not hesitate if you are in a situation where you can. Don't feel like you have to, but I do have my Cashapp, Venmo, PayPal, and wish list down below. If you have generosity you would like to share, I always accept tips for my readings, and I also accept gifts if you want to send me gifts for my wish list, but of course I never expect those things. And I also have my website, KhloeTaylor.com, if you'd like to book me for a private reading or a birth chart. Those are available to you. I will never personally solicit you on social media. You can only book through my website. So if you ever see somebody roll up on your DMs asking about that, please know it's a scam account and it's not me. I would never do that to you. If you would like to join a community of like-minded individuals, please make sure you check out the Discord. It's available to you. It's free. It's available on iOS, on Android. I literally get nothing from telling you about this other than having a really cool community that you can hang out with. I'm not trying to like sell anything to you. It's literally just like our community has a bunch of group chats and you can come in and join them or just watch and read. We talk about all kinds of things. There are so many categories and it's just our community. So join the Discord if you haven't already. And if you'd like to follow me around the web, I am on Instagram, TikTok, where else? Twitter. I'm at Kloee Taylor. I have the at Kloee Taylor handle. There's no underscores, no periods, no extra letters. And I feel like there's one more thing. Oh, my podcast. I don't think I mentioned that in every other pile, but my podcast, Divine Authenticity, it's available every Tuesday, and sometimes we put out episodes on Friday as well. So spirituality, self-development. I'm basically your crunchy auntie leading you through this life, talking about all things spiritual, but also like wellness related, and it's a good time. Anyways, I love you so much, Pumpkin. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you in the next one.